question on the table here, whether Cassie Ventura, whether the other victims actually consented to this.
Look, as somebody who's been in the game in terms of rapping and putting out albums and touring and things like that, I'm familiar with how cutthroat the industry is, and how people have had to do incredible things to advance themselves. And I think that that's a big part of this. I think that this idea that these were just people who were just, cold drug addicts or whatever they said, who just love parties, I think it's nonsense. R. Kelly is an R&B figure, right? So Diddy is really the first person in hip hop to really suffer the consequences of the Me Too movement. Me Too movement skipped over rappers, and it really bothered me that a lot of these guys were not called to task like some of these other guys, the Weinsteins, the Bill Cosbys, and all of that. This is a moment for us to really reflect. I personally, do not believe that Cassie and these guys are lying and making up stuff and just trying to get attention. I don't believe in any of that. I believe at the end of the day that Diddy has always been a violent person. I believe that this is a person who inside himself is a small person, and so it's always had a need to dominate and control people. And he's not the only one in hip hop. We come out of a culture, particularly those of us who are part of that hip hop generation. If we go back and listen to the music, a lot of the stuff, a lot of it was about sex and relationships with underage people. BBD, Do Me Baby, Backstage, Underage, Adolescent, How You Doing? LL Cool J, Big Ol' Butt, I Was Down at the High School, whatever. Like, we came out of this culture. And a lot of us were too young to understand what was going on. We danced to it. Now we're older. We're parents, aunties, uncles, or whatever. And now we need to be part of the group that's going to hold our community accountable. So I'm hoping that it all comes out. I hope that there's not any particular glitches or whatever that leads to some form of mistrial, because this story needs to be told.